Welcome back. We were talking about understanding suicide and the complications around it. And also, it creates a ritual, I would say, where people are okay to talk, right? I mean, then people will also be able to make it an acceptable conversation. And that would also facilitate a lot of people to express their fears or their concerns, and that would definitely help both the people who have lost the loved one and also society at large to have an open conversation.
Correct. I mean, at the end of the day, I think some of it has to also be that we have to also make it as one of the ways that people die. You know? And that way, there are many preventable ways of dying. So why should we not recognize it when somebody dies of suicide?
I'm so glad you said that, because this is one thing that was crossing my mind, that the other part of stigma is coming from how legalities would look at suicide, isn't it?
Correct.
Very recently we were calling it a crime.
Yeah.
Very recently.
Yeah. Less than a decade ago.
Less than a decade ago.
Yeah.
And
most
obviously
people are not even aware. I think sometimes even
people still
police are
think
not
it
aware.
is. Yeah, people still think it is. And I think that is something for us to also look into, because when I understand why organizations would not want to come forward is also because they're scared that what if we land up in any legal
That's the funny part, because suicide attempt in itself or completed suicide is not illegal or a crime anymore. Abetment to suicide is illegal. So if you're being quiet, it actually is, the question is, okay, if you haven't done anything, then why should you not talk about it? So that's the confusion over there. Just by observing or acknowledging somebody's death does not mean that you are saying there is abetment.
But just that says how deep the stigma is.
Yes, absolutely.
How deep the misconception is.
Correct.
Now, suicide is, all said and done, is a very sensitive matter.
Of course.
And it is not easy for everyone to talk about it or even face it, right? People are scared. Is there a way we could make a common man sensitive or aware towards it and probably help people to develop a healthy narrative towards it?
I always go back to one of these trainings which I had attended as a student, and it said that everybody is, an ally in this process. Whether you are being a good or supportive ally, or whether you're being a bystander, that is up to you. So I think the first thing that we have to teach people is that if you are being an active participant in prevention and not just being a passive bystander, that in itself will help the situation.
Right. No, but the whole challenge is, how do I come out of this bystander's position? Because one, I'm scared.
Correct.
Right? Secondly, I'm clueless. One, I don't know if somebody is going through, because it's a very undercurrent thought. And one fine day I realize somebody has committed it. So as a common man, it is so difficult for anyone to step in and to help.
Yeah, and also, I mean, to borrow an analogy from another physical illness, if you see your colleague who's otherwise fit and fine, suddenly they're out of breath when they're climbing 1 or 2 flights of stairs, you would sit them down and ask them that, okay, normally it was not like this with you. Is everything okay, or do you need to go to the doctor? So normally, if you see a big shift in somebody's mood, it should be the same thing. It should concern you, and you should ask. I think our confusion is that we think if we ask somebody like this, either they will get offended and they will be very mad at us, or we think that it will put something in our head. Which we know, as therapists, as psychologists, we know that is not true. Nobody can put the idea, and it is not some novel idea that nobody has ever thought about. This
or
before.
It is not like, just by uttering the word, somebody gets influenced
like that. So I think that message has to be hammered into common people's minds, that if you notice something, and there are signs, so if you notice something, if you see something, then you say something.
Correct.
And you ask in whatever vocabulary, whatever language that you can, you just tell this person and ask this person that, everything doesn't seem okay. Is there something that you need? Is there something that you would like to talk about?
So I think the first point we should put across to everyone, it's okay to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We don't have to shy, we don't have to go back and think twice. Of course, we shouldn't be talking to people who don't
Just
show signs, just
of
randomly
course,
like
of
that, which would reduce the seriousness of it. But if at all we feel that somebody is not feeling okay, or we see some signs, we should walk up to them and say, is everything okay, right?
And the second thing is signs of what? Because as you know, as a teacher and even as a counselor, when I see unusual behavior, like a student who is present is absent and there is no explanation given why they are absent, or a client who comes regularly for counseling doesn't attend the session, does not even inform that they are not going to be present for the session, I check in and I ask that, is everything okay? Usually you are there, you're present on time, or usually there is a prior communication by you that something like this is going to happen. So sign of not just the fact that the person might be thinking about hurting or harming themselves, but signs of discomfort, unusual behavior, anything which is different from their usual self, and you open that door for conversation at least. I think that is more than anything which is important, that somebody is noticing me.